Guys, I was just about to make myself a bread and I have this thought in my head which I immediately need to share with you before I forget. Because I think I owe you this a little bit, or maybe for myself, because, and I'm also using this slide because it's kind of very weird and so on, and I like it. And it's how to make changes takes time because lots of time I'm criticizing, my mouth is full of criticizing of something, big five and so on. And I also like to do those parallels with football because I'm a big football fan. And I think in the world of music, it's not a huge difference in the way, if we just look at it from the approach. Of course, we cannot compare those two industries and so on. This is very hard, but we can kind of compare the principle of work, the principle of, creating all those things around it to achieve something, to have a conception and so on and so on and so on. And you can ask, like, but Jan, what have you achieved? And of course, I can give you a list of achievements I've done. But what I want to say that every change, every step forward, every step backwards has some kind of time to be applied. So when you do a huge conceptual mistake, it probably won't be visible immediately. But over time, your quality will go down, and this you will for sure see. And then it will take another amount of time to get back on track. And this is the biggest issue also for Eurovision, but also for Eurovision countries and programs, that in football, for example, this takes generation, right? Like you cannot achieve something from year to year and then you say, my country don't do well, it doesn't really work that well. But if you do those proper steps over time, eventually it will pay off. It will pay off, but not immediately. And we are based on results to be delivered now and immediately, or this doesn't work. But it's not the real thing. And then you can see that in very successful football clubs, but on local level, also in some bigger leagues like UK, Germany, Spain, and so on whatsoever, you can see that it's a progression over time. And then little details are really important, but without this progression, it doesn't work. And we can see it, for example, on World Championships. I think Germany is perfect example of that they rise the generation in some principles, then they winning the World Championships, and then they're sliding down because they're repeating something, because the other countries are trying to counter it with doing it better. And then Germany is like, oh, where we did a mistake, we need to revisit our conception. And this is exactly what should be applied also for Eurovision approach. I'm not saying in global Eurovision, because every country is creating their own Eurovision story, their own Eurovision conceptions, and they are fighting each other. What I see that this doesn't really exist, and we cannot apply the same rules like from football to music. And I think we should, because with this, Eurovision will rise and more countries will start to do a conceptions towards this. They, of course, will be more successful. And this is what I wanted to say. Because you can also ask, like, where is your talent? Where it goes? How it's getting better in Czechia? Like, I can tell that from some steps where we started, when we are now, it's just getting much better. Of course, the progression is slow. It is slow, it takes time, because there is hard to create a really long-term conceptual work, because then you need to know that you will do this project in 10 years and you can still adjust and do better. But definitely there is a progression. Could it be better? Yes. Will it take more time than, for example, in big five countries? Yes. The big five countries needs to step in, because also if they will step in, they will show the other smaller countries, but with the big ambitions, that they need to step up their game to win over them. And now the level is kind of lower, but also this is an amazing opportunity for smaller countries like Czechia, but even smaller ones, to step the game in, because the competition is just a little bit lower. This is a short podcast, but I wanted to tell you this important thing in my head, which I think it makes a little bit sense for you to understand from what positions I'm talking about and what it's the big fundament of my talking about this. Everything takes time. Progression takes time, but there must be a conception about it, and every step we do has a consequence. And if we do bad decisions, it will have consequences over time, and then we will need more time to get back on track, which I think it's a little bit pity. But who will understand this, who will do the perfect conceptual work about it, will be in next 10 years the biggest champion of Eurovision. And we see that there are countries like Sweden who already does this, and that's why they are so up. I think I said it also in some of the blogs, but if they're the only ones, or they're not the only ones actually, but if there are just few, there is still space for more. Then write me in the comments below, what do you think about this crazy little podcast exclusively for everybody? It's not exclusive actually then. Yeah, but there is exclusive content for you also, so check it out on my YouTube channel and become a member, or subscribe to the channel, or buy me a coffee, or give me a super like. Make me grow for more. Thank you for watching.